Greetings, friends. Ramadan Kareem to my friends and family observing a month of fasting beginning today. And in honor of what I have learned from you about this practice of Ramadan fasting, I light the chalice today, remembering a story told at a community iftar I attended with my friend Rabiha many years ago. It was a large iftar attended by people from around the world here in St. Paul at the end of Ramadan. And it was a huge feast, of course, celebrating the end of this daily fasting from sunrise to sunset. And after we had all eaten our fill from this generous buffet, there was an equally generous sharing of stories that began with my friend's father, Adil, who rose and told the story of his childhood memories of Ramadan in the small town in Turkey where he grew up. It was a town without electricity, and so he said his job as a child was to rise and light the lamps in their house. And as he carried them from one window to the next throughout their home, he looked out into the darkness and saw the lamps being lit in other households of fellow Muslims who were rising to make their morning meal before sunrise. And he said that as he looked out and saw those lamps being lit and saw his own lamp in his household, he was reminded of a thread of faithfulness that connected them all, not only in that moment before eating their morning meal, but a thread of faithfulness that supported him and his family throughout their day of fasting, reminding him that none of them were alone in this practice of fasting, that they were all connected by faith and by their commitment to carry on this practice and the other practices of humility and generosity, of devotion and belief, of commitment to justice and sharing. And as I think of that story that he told today on the first day of Ramadan in this year, I am thinking about these pandemic times and how they are asking of all of us a certain kind of fasting, an abstinence from the physical connections that we often enjoy and in fact depend on from day to day. Now we are asking to maintain a social distance, but this does not mean that any of us are alone. It means that we look for the lamps that others are lighting, and we remember to light our own lamp so that they can see ours. And we practice different ways of connectedness as ways of reminding ourselves and one another that we are not alone, that we are doing this in support of one another, in love of one another, in commitment to our own deepest values of justice, of peace, of love, and of life. And each day we rise, we are asked to recommit ourselves to those values and the many others that connect us within our own faith of Unitarian Universalism and well beyond. For each of us on this planet is connected to one another. And as we look across the 6-foot gaps we now maintain from one another, and as we even don masks to protect others from our breath, we find ways of showing one another the lights shining within us. It is a light of faith. It is a light of commitment. It is a light of steadfast love honoring the life that we share and the life we pledge to use to support one another. However you are doing that today, I ask you to continue. Your lamp has been encouraging me on. I hope mine has been encouraging you on. Let us light, and let us all light our lamps in any way, figuratively and metaphorically, and keep them in the windows of our souls and our homes, reminding one another, none of us is alone. Take good care, friends. Ramadan Kareem.